There's something freeing about shopping for a sporty station wagon today in that there are only two choices. Nobody can possibly be overwhelmed by two choices. Duly considering and thoroughly cross-shopping all options need not kill an entire morning. Do you like chocolate or vanilla? Apple or Android? The Swedish 2023 Volvo V60 Cross Country or the German Audi A4 Allroad? Since the Mercedes C-Class wagon departed in 2005, the lower slung, long roof, sub-$60,000 sporty Euro wagon class has atrophied to just those two options. Though some will make the case for the decidedly wagonesque Subaru Outback as a third option, that car really fosters an altogether more practical, outdoorsy, granola vibe that seems antithetical to these sleeker European offerings. It does try hard to out-Volvo on the safety gear front, though, so if that's your jam, maybe budget time for a third dealer visit. In the 3 years since the second General V60's debut, its biggest news has been a steady pruning of the model lineup, further simplifying your wagon selection task. From the 5 initial V60 trim levels offered, Momentum, R-Design, Inscription, Cross Country, and Polestar, there remain just 2, the mildly off-roady B5 Cross Country, in 2 trim grades, plus an Ultimate and the sportier T8 Polestar Recharge PHEV, Cross Country Performance. Our loaded 2023 B5 Ultimate tipped the scales at 112 pounds heavier than the 2020 model we last tested, but still managed to outperform it, dashing to 60 miles per hour in 7.6 seconds and on through the quarter mile in 15.7 seconds at 88.7 miles per hour, as compared with 8.0 seconds to 60 miles per hour in a 16.1 quarter mile time at 86.4 miles per hour. These figures don't close the gap much with our last mid-grade Audi A4 Allroad 2.0T test car, however. With 5 more horses and 15 more pound-feet lugging 353 fewer pounds, that Bavarian creams this Swede, 5.5 seconds to 60 with 14.1 seconds at 97.6 miles per hour in the quarter. For the Subi curious, the 260-horse Outback Wilderness edges ahead of the V60 by 1.5 seconds to 60, and by a second and 7.4 miles per hour in the quarter. Where the Volvo ekes out a slight advantage is in mechanical tire grip, as this heavier, wider, longer wheelbase car slightly outperforms its Audi rival in braking distance from 60 miles per hour, 118 versus 119 feet, and max lateral grip, 0.84 versus 0.81 grams. You can credit its wider track and stickier tires, 245 40ths R20 Pirelli P0s versus 245 45ths R18 Hankook Ventus, though an 11% weight-to-power advantage generally keeps the Audi ahead of the Volvo on handling circuits like our Figure 8. Oh, and their modest suspension lifts and off-road cosplay qualify neither for crossing unpaved country, so we aren't assessing that. Behind the wheel. For those who regularly probe the bottom third of their accelerator's travel and prize driving enjoyment fram for alt, the more powerful T8 Polestar or Audi Allroad are probably better choices. Much of the joy we derived from our week with the V60 Cross Country was in walking up to or away from it, delighting in its sleek design, handsome proportions, and the rarity of its wagon form. Ride quality is more than acceptable for the sedan wagon class, maybe a touch better than expected if your worldview has slanted toward SUVs. Steering and braking are remarkable mostly in their unremarkableness. They don't draw attention to themselves, good or bad. Comparing efficiency. The EPA ranks these rivals dead even at 23/30ths, 26 mpg, which may count as an aero efficiency win for the heavier, wider, higher ground clearance 8.1 versus 6.5 inches V60. But in terms of packaging efficiency, the win must go to the Audi. Our V60 measures about the same length as the Audi on a 2.2-inch longer wheelbase and it's almost 3 inches wider. So the Volvo should offer more shoulder, hip, and rear legroom. But its shoulder room is a wash, and the V60's rear legroom is actually 0.5 inches smaller. The Audi even accommodates more cargo, with 1.0 cubic foot more with the seats up, 7.6 cubes with them down. Comfort and utility. Cargo space is as cargo space does. Volvo's 60/40th split folding rear seatback provides a ski pass-through. There are 4 tie-down and grocery bag hooks, a net to restrain items at the left rear of the compartment, plus a cargo shade with tracks that allow it to slide up to the top of the hatch opening while loading. But Audi offers an even more useful 40/20 split folding rear seatback, with release latches in the cargo area, a cargo net on both sides, an elastic band to retain items near the wheelhouse, and a cargo shade that powers up and down those rear opening tracks. Passenger space and comfort are comparable, with the rear seats of each suffering by comparison with their crossover siblings, the Audi Q5 and Volvo XC60. Reduced interior height in the station wagons causes ankles to ride higher relative to hips, and thigh support is compromised as a result. Scandinavian cool. Countering those pragmatic Audi advantages is the Volvo's modern, cool interior. Its Scandinavian heritage is heralded everywhere, from tiny Swedish flags on the seats to its orifice shift knob. Our car's high-contrast cream and charcoal color scheme is broken up by lovely light open-pore wood with its grain refreshingly oriented in the direction of travel, rather than from door to door, though we are saddened that wool tweed upholstery is no longer offered. The vents are more highly stylized and surrounded by a brushed nickel-look trim. Its vertical infotainment screen is smaller than the current ever-expanding average, but on the plus side, it features extensive Google Assistant Android integration. So for those accustomed to chatting with their Samsung and Google Home apps, this could be a plus. We're mostly an iPhone shop, and we've heard some complaints of laggy connection to Android Auto, so maybe evaluate that extensively before deciding. Should you buy a V60 cross-country? Though the competitive Audi A4 Allroad handily beats the Volvo in multiple objective measures, outright power, handling, packaging efficiency, and utility, we prefer the aesthetic charms of the Volvo. And we strongly urge anyone reading this far to absolutely purchase the Volvo or the Audi. Please encourage Volvo and Audi, and maybe someday again Mercedes or maybe even Genesis, to market sleek, attractive, long-roof cars to our truck and SUV-addled populace well into the future. Stem the attrition that has already eliminated 3 cool versions of the V60. Consider it your own roadway beautification contribution.